Have you stayed in an Airbnb recently? If so, you might be considering buying Airbnbs yourself and making some extra money. We all know that by this time, Airbnb is without a doubt a successful startup that has completely changed how we look at hotels, vacations, and the travel industry. It provides convenience and cheaper alternatives for its customers by giving them more options on top of the usual. However, there are many pros and cons to investing in Airbnb, and in this video, you'll learn if Airbnb is the best investment choice for you in 2022. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we post videos every week on real estate investing, so definitely keep watching. Renting an Airbnb to make money while you sleep can be lucrative, but there are considerations you need to factor in. Look at some of the pros and cons we've gathered to help you make a better decision. For starters, you have the potential for passive income. Some people dabble in real estate to create a passive income stream. To be clear, any type of side hustle or investment property requires some measure of work. However, the benefit of passive income is that you can earn money with little to no effort. Once your Airbnb is ready for short-term rentals, you'll earn money each time a guest books a stay at your place. You don't have to be there with guests, nor are you required to entertain them. Just list the property and keep the accommodations in good condition. You also have more flexibility. Renting your place out for a year means having less control. However, as an Airbnb host, you have complete control over who stays and for how long. You have full control of when you list, how much you're listing for, and when to remove the property from the rental list online. This means your income level from the property is mainly up to you. If you want to earn as much money as possible, you can Airbnb the property every day. But if you have other plans for the unit, for example, sharing it to family or friends on the holidays and want it vacant, you can do that as well. You will also get various types of tenants. When you rent your apartment, traditionally you are entirely dependent on one tenant paying rent. However, if you do your due diligence and things work out, this can be perfect. But what happens if your tenant loses their job? Or if they just stop paying? Your income takes a beating and it can take months to evict them. You earn income from many tenants each month when you do an Airbnb. Each daily or weekly tenant is a small part of your monthly cash flow. If one or two tenants cancel, it has a minimal effect on your income. Listing your property is free. Listing your property for rent on Airbnb site is free. Obviously, it's nice not to have to pay for advertising costs, right? Information you can include on the Airbnb listing at no charge include your host profile, property description, and photos. And you get to take advantage of all the marketing features of the Airbnb site. You only pay an Airbnb fee when the property is rented. Airbnb is more profitable than long-term rentals. While it is true that having a long-term single tenant will give you a stable income source, the prospect of hitting your returns within a shorter time is larger when you invest in Airbnb. The benefit of the Airbnb rental market is the opportunity to earn more as a real estate investor. For example, let's say you buy a property and find a long-term tenant that pays $1,400 a month based on market conditions. Over the course of 12 months, you make an average of about $16,800 with this traditional rental. Now let's say you list the same property on Airbnb at $150 a night. Realistically, you won't have guests every night, but even if you only keep the property occupied for 6 months, you'll make about $27,000 from rental income with Airbnb. That's over $10,000 more. One reason is that guests are naturally willing to pay more for an overnight stay in any property than a tenant who is there to stay for a lengthy period. On the other hand, although listing your property on Airbnb can be profitable, here are a few cons to know about the platform. Airbnb hosting takes work. A list of Airbnb pros and cons is never complete without noting that hosting is a lot of work. It is a job that takes a ton of time and energy once you have more than 1 or 2 units. You need to be available to respond to guests at any time. And you need 24/7 availability when you have someone staying at your property. Being an effective host requires you to be skilled in customer service, communications, property management, and more. Many hosts say Airbnb rentals require more work than long-term rentals. Remember, it's your job to keep your property in a well-maintained and attractive condition at all times. If you get too many complaints, Airbnb will get involved. Some hosts save themselves work by using a cleaning service, but this adds to your monthly costs. Also remember, there's a lot of competition with other hosts, so if you want a lot of bookings, you need to spend extra money to ensure the property looks attractive to guests. It can be very risky. Think about it. You're inviting a stranger to stay in your home. You might not be there when they are, and you don't know who they are. So you want to do some screening checks and make sure you know who you're renting to. It's not just the facts that they're strangers. What if they host loud parties or damage the home? It's on you to do the repair work later on. Irregular income. A major downside of listing a property on Airbnb is that rental income tends to be irregular compared to other rental properties. With a long-term rental, your tenant might sign a 12, 24, or 36-month lease. As a landlord, you can usually count on this income from month to month. The number of bookings, however, determines your Airbnb income. This can fluctuate during certain times of the year, especially when tourism drops. And if there's a lot of competition in your area, it might be difficult to maintain steady bookings. So your income can be a bit irregular. The upside is that money earned throughout the year can compensate for slow periods. Higher expenses. Renting a long-term unit or home means the tenant pays for utilities, but Airbnb owners must cover electricity, cable, internet, water, and cleaning. You also must provide towels, toiletries, and linens. And remember, there's a lot of competition. To make your Airbnb stand out from the others, you need a fantastic description, professional photos, and solid furniture. On the other hand, a long-term rental property is usually rented unfurnished. Disruptive guests. Airbnb guests have many options in popular cities, so they want to think they are getting a great deal. However, remember that many Airbnb guests are on vacation and want a luxurious place to relax in. Your Airbnb needs to be attractive and stylish to generate plenty of cash flow. What kind of carpet does your house have? Does your apartment building have a gym and spa? There are some legal restrictions. Before you invest, make sure you know the legalities of doing so. For starters, in some regions, you can't list a property as an Airbnb rental. You might need special permits and licenses before renting. If there's major damages or issues with the property, lawsuits might follow if the renter is hurt on the property. Make sure you're aware of legal restrictions, terms, and understanding the implications if something does happen on the property. Is Airbnb the right investment for you? You can see there are more pros than cons if you're considering investing in real estate for the sole purpose of renting it as an Airbnb property. But you should weigh both the good and the bad before you ultimately choose to make that investment. To ensure you're ready to take on the challenges if you want to reap the financial rewards of being an Airbnb host. Let me know in the comments if you've made a decision yet on investing in Airbnb. Just make sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next video. If your decision is yes, and you do want to start making money, it is a must that you watch this video next, where I will teach you everything you need to know about starting your own Airbnb business. So make sure to watch that one in full. I'll see you in the next one.